Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello. What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. It is Wednesday, November 26th, and this is a special Thanksgiving Blinkers Off. What's up, man? I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Welcome back. You're saying off air that you're really happy to be back and you were ready. And so he said the opposite, actually. But yeah, welcome back.
I mean, part of me was it's one of those weird things. Anybody that's taken their kids to Disney World and that whole experience, especially as a single dad and doing it alone, knows that it's like you're not glad to be back, but you're also kind of glad to be back because it was total pure insanity the whole time and there's no rest whatsoever. I didn't tell you this. I legitimately yesterday slept 13 hours. 13 hours, dude. I went to bed early and I slept in and I was like, and I didn't even set my alarm. It was like one of those, didn't have anything. I was like, I'm just sleeping. I have to. I was so tired. We had to get up. You know, it's hard enough, like all the things even when it's just you and I traveling do it, but let alone you add in, like we had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. and then you're like loads of shit of like of toys. And I mean, I literally had to buy a couple different bags just to put all the toys in. And then also I also have 2 other humans that I'm trying to get on the airplane. It was, you just do it, but man, it was exhausting.
Yeah, traveling with kids, doing anything with kids, it's definitely such a huge difference. I remember just like going to a baseball game once with my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and their 2 kids, and they were even like a little older than yours, but it's like, man, it is just different getting them to do anything. It's just like you just gotta worry about them 24/7 in public in a crowd, and hey, we got to go over here. We go over here. They got to have something to eat. Like it is definitely a different experience for sure. And I can't imagine Disney and all that. That had to have been exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, you and I travel, and we travel all the time together, and it's just like, yeah, shit, we haven't eaten all day, but
yeah, doesn't matter.
We'll figure it. We'll eat something when we get there. Yeah. Here, it's like, well, shit, I gotta feed them. They go through the little. It's funny. They were so obsessed with like hitting up the little grocery store type things at the airport before we got on an airplane. Like just like that was the first time they'd ever seen snacks and candy. Like let's get this, let's get that. And I will say this, like it makes a world, not just with kids, but I hadn't flown direct in a long time.
Yeah.
And it makes a world of difference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is night and day traveling direct versus having a layover somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like we were there in 2 seconds, it felt like.
I know. Yeah, and people are like, "What is he talking about?" Where we live, you can't get direct very many places. So, it makes a huge difference. And that's we laugh about Allegiant, but boy, getting those directs to Orlando to Vegas, places like that, man, it does make a huge difference because you don't have to change the planes and wait, and it's less opportunity for the airlines to screw you over somehow.
Yeah, for real.
With delays.
As long as you get on the plane, you're getting there, other than waiting. And I'll tell you this too, like and I talk shit on Allegiant, I know, but the airplane that we flew on, you probably would know because you're an airplane nerd, but like the airplane we flew on was like nice. I mean, it was newer compared to what some of the planes I feel like you fly on with American Airlines, where it's like, how old is this thing?
Yeah.
You actually felt okay, You're like, hey, this is not bad.
That's good.
Allegiant, holy shit. I was shocked. And the boys got to get in the cockpit and before we even took off and the pilot let them take their picture in the seats, and I was like, oh damn, this is cool, and it was a solid trip. I mean, nothing. There was, some puking, but not from me, but from the kids.
Well,
we survived, and listen, it's all about parenting on those kind of situations. It's not about things going perfectly. It's about just figuring out how to get through the things when it doesn't. Yeah. And Cohen got to ride all the rides he wanted. Cooper got to ride, Star Wars. I'll tell you what, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at Disney Hollywood is absolutely, I don't know if you've ever seen like the YouTube video of it, of like the POV or whatever. Like it is insane. I'm not like, I like Star Wars. I'm not like a nerd about it or anything. Holy shit, that ride was insane. Like it felt like you were in Star Wars, like
Yeah.
I'll have to send you the video I took of it. And then Cooper, that was like the ride he was most excited to ride, and it really lived up to it. So
yeah, no, that's very cool for sure. I think I've seen I've definitely seen the like part of it. I want to say so. Yeah, I mean the picture you're sending me, it's just amazing how like lifelike. Not lifelike, that's not the right word. Just how exactly it looks exactly like a movie or the TV show or whatever. That you wherever you were at. It's like, man, how long did it take them to do this? Like, it's the detail was incredible.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, man, it's not like a. That's the thing about it. It's so neat. It's not even a ride. It's like an experience, really. I mean, it is a ride, but like you're not on a roller coaster. You're like trying to you've been captured by the New Order or whatever, and Kylo Ren, and you're trying to escape and be part of the Resistance, and it's like you're on this little ride and trying to escape, and you're going through all these spots, and stormtroopers are shooting at you, and it's real. Like it's not like a lot of those rides these days are like the 4D type stuff, and it's a real thing. You're cruising through all these areas, but it just had all these aspects to it that were crazy. And yeah, and then Harry Potter. We went to Universal, like that is just I am a Harry Potter nerd because we gotten into it here in the last year. And the worlds there are just, and I can't even believe it's real. Like Super Mario World, we did that, which again, it's like exactly how you would expect if you were in, like I think every kid at some point, like, it'd be cool to be in Mario World. You know what I mean? Like it's like, no, this is what it's like,
Yeah.
And I remember leaving, like, so with Harry Potter World, you like, how like what is it? Is it Diagon Alley? And it's like behind the like England or wherever. And I remember you kind of go through it. That's the way they did it. Like you looked like you're just in city, and then you kind of go in this hole almost in a wall, and now all of a sudden you're in that area. And we were in there forever. What seemed like forever. Then you walked out, and you're like, oh. It's like you're almost you're in the real world now, like they really do an amazing job of making it feel like you are immersed in whatever world, you're in. So it was fun. It was, the kids got their wands, got Star Wars, got, toys. Cohen made an action figure of himself on Tron, which was insane. He like took his pictures of his face and audio, and they literally made a action figure with his voice. It was kind of fun.
Oh, that is cool.
So yeah, it literally, I don't know what more we could have done or what more I could have afforded, but
yeah, that's a good thing you're back.
I have not recovered financially or emotionally yet, but I am here. So how did things go without me? Did the show go on?
Yeah, we did. It was really good. We actually did a combined late pick 5 ticket from Aqueduct because there was nothing to talk about.
Did it hit?
Papa Dude and I did hit it. Yes.
Hey.
Yes. So it was very good. Very good show.
You don't need me.
No, well, it definitely, we didn't need you last week because last week's probably the worst weekend of the year for racing, honestly. Like, we were talking before, and I was like, let's just do a pick 5. There's any stakes. He's like, okay. And he's like, well, what track should we do? And then we started looking at the tracks. We're like, oh, this is bad. And I was like, I've been doing decent at Aqueduct. Let's just do it. So maybe, so I was like, I'll be like completely honest with people. Last week I was so bored with racing. It was incredible. Like, it was just like, there's nothing going on this week. But the good news is this week you're back at a good week because I think it's really, really good this weekend.
Yeah, it's. I guess I picked a good week to be gone then.
It was so boring. Well, we did Aqueduct. There were no stakes races on the Aqueduct sequence. But we looked at Churchill and was like, oh, these horses, I don't want to do this. So it's like, okay, let's not do that. Yeah. It was just a pretty boring week for racing, no doubt. And then like I had a horse I really wanted to look and watch at Gulfstream that I thought would be one to look for the Derby, and he scratched out of the race. And so it's like, okay, I'm done with today.
Did you see? Speaking of scratches, did you see? I don't know if you saw this. That Explorer is scratching from the goldenrod.
Yes.
Didn't make
I didn't catch why. Did you see why?
All I saw was didn't get on the flight. I don't know.
Okay.
What that means, but just didn't even go. So
Yeah.
we'll get more into that. That's at this point, none of those little situations ever surprise you. Especially when it comes to Baffert.
He sent, I don't remember the exact number, but if you don't know, Saturday, not you, but people listening, Saturday is Stars of Tomorrow 2 card, and he sent a few. Was there any others that didn't get on? I only saw her.
I think that was the only one.
Okay.
So that I saw.
Okay.
I'll have to pull up the tweet I saw about it, but yeah, I think that was the only one, which was the big one because that's obviously I think would have been tough and definitely would have been a favorite, right? So and it kind of makes you wonder too. Like we'll get into it. But Explorer did not make the flight with her 3 other stablemates.
Okay.
So she's been scratched. Boy, Cherokee Nation, and Tour Player are stabled in barn 44. So they're there.
I wonder if is she hurt, or did it say, or is she gonna just run in the Starlet maybe?
It doesn't did not just all I've seen is did not make the flight. I mean, it doesn't say anything about her having an issue. I mean, my thing is like I wonder, because to me that's definitely you would think the biggest horse going in, right? Like, so was it like original plan, like, hey, we're sending Explorer out to the Goldenrod, hey, by the way, let's also send out a couple of these other ones, and then so it kind of makes you wonder, like, it was the reason some of these other ones came was because she was coming. Now she's not. They had the flight already. It's like, hey, let's send them out anyways. So we'll see if these horses that are going to run are very good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think there's some interesting horses. We'll talk about one of them on the show, and that Boyd horse we won't talk about later, so I'll mention him now. He's probably going to be a pretty strong favorite in the race he's in. He's in the sprint stakes for the boys. He looks pretty good in that one. So I doubt it was just for her, but I'm sure that was a big part of it. And yeah, it's I'm kind of glad she's not in it, to be quite honest with you, because it becomes a completely wide open race where with her in it, you probably pick her, and it's like,
oh, it's
shit, she probably 3 to 5,
Oh, it's a totally wide open race. Like, it's a hell of a race. I mean, I don't know if it's a hell of a race like long term, but it's a good race to bet for sure. Let's see. I was gonna say. Oh yeah, one more thing I was gonna add. So I literally brought all my my computer and everything obviously to work, and if I needed to, and it was to the point where I was like, I think I emailed some stuff 1 or 2 nights, but I was like, I'd fall asleep with the boys every night, and then I'd wake up the next morning like, oh shit, here we go again. And it was like Groundhog Day, and I would just barely maintain my emails, but it was so funny. You would go, so there's like obviously 1,000 different places you can eat, but we stayed on resort or on whatever, one of the Disney resorts there at right next to Magical Kingdom, or Magic Kingdom, but there's like a dining hall basically, and if you have a food, you can eat there no matter what, but if you have a food plan, then you go and you can there's all kinds of stuff, and it was all right. Anyways, you could just every night you could just scan that, and you would see at least one dad just looking like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, just with their head down, or it's almost like misery has company. You know what I mean? We're all in this together, and no matter where it's where you look, there is somebody or a kid crying. It's just like every parent is in that. I don't know how people do it. Like, do parents enjoy it when they go? Do any parents enjoy it? Like, I feel like you'd always have to take grandparents and a bunch of family with you for a parent to actually enjoy Disney. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like you enjoyed it. So
I mean, I
there's one.
enjoyed it, but at the same time, you're never like, it's not like it wouldn't be like going with adults to a park. You're like constantly on. You're constantly making sure your kids are breathing and not being stolen and, all the things. And so it's like, how do you like, does anybody, there's like tons of people there without kids. That's another thing that blew my mind.
Well, yeah, like I mean, it would for me too. But I mean, we know people that are adult. What do they call them? Disney adults or whatever.
Well, and I was talking to Tracy about that because they're Tracy and John, and she's like, we're not. Cause she was like, there's like some like people that like go to meet characters, like, but they're adults. And she's like, yeah, that's another level. Like, we like it, but we're not like crying when we meet Winnie the Pooh or something, Maybe John might. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Tracy does it. But it's crazy. Like, it's just a whole other world. But it was funny to me because it's like, it wasn't funny, but it's like, oh, yeah, I get it, buddy. Like, one dad, I remember looking over and you could, it wasn't he was asleep. He was just had his head down with his eyes closed with the kid, 2 kids and a mom. And you could tell like he's not having fun at all.
No.
Like this is his nightmare, basically. But anyways, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back. We're getting into racing, Halterman. It is Thanksgiving tomorrow, but we're gonna get into the Clark Stakes, which is running on Black Friday. We're going to also look at the Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks Trail. We got the Kentucky Jockey Club and the Goldenrod as key races this weekend for those. And then we're going to look at some of the biggest racing action this weekend. For Thanksgiving weekend, we're going to Del Mar. We're going to Churchill. Tons to talk about. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. You guys do anything fun for Thanksgiving, Halterman?
Everybody's coming over here tomorrow. So that's happening. And yeah, and then I'm trying to think. Sunday I have to go do something as well. So yes, I'm doing something fun Friday and Saturday.
Watch it. Sit at home and watch
2 out of 4 ain't bad, right?
Right.
Oh, shit.
Hey, the Chiefs play on Thanksgiving. That'll be interesting. They play Thanksgiving and Christmas.
The Chiefs play. That is a huge game.
Huge.
Yeah.
They all are now, though, moving forward for the Chiefs.
Yes.
I think they're gonna win, but I don't know.
My wife and I bought a 12-pack, didn't drink 1 beer, too tired every night. There you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to drink like every day you want to drink, but unless you're just tying one on, which is not something I would recommend with kids, it just makes you tired. 1 beer doesn't mean nothing, right? Like I need 6 of them. Although we did go at Disney Hollywood when we went to Star Wars World, they have I don't know what it's, the cantina. It's like, off of Star Wars, there's like the cantina. It's like that whole vibe, and it's literally themed out in Star Wars. Anyways, we went. They had kids drinks, obviously non-alcoholic, but they had some alcoholic ones. And I downed 2 of those suckers, and they were potent. And I'm telling you, that was the best I felt the whole trip. It was just enough, to just have just a slight feeling, but not obviously enough to to keep going. It was heavy duty. It was like, I don't know what it was, but they were all themed out to be like Star Wars drinks, But
well, I mean, what were the kids drinking beer that one day too? I saw they had a couple beers.
That was butterbeer at Harry Potter World. So
I'm disappointed.
That was not
okay. Never mind.
Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody in the chat has had the butterbeer at Harry Potter World. It's not. I've heard some people say it's like, oh, you got to have it, Which I mean, I get it. It's like the movie, but I didn't think it was like it was amazing,
Yeah.
But it was good, I guess. The boys honestly didn't like it that much, but so I drank most of it. Dude, we rode the Jurassic World ride, which is like a water kind of ride. I don't know if you've ever rode that, but at the end it's like this huge, and it's not like in our world like what what is it? The ride at Solar City, you know, the little like a little boat, not like the big round one, but what was it? American Plunge. It's not like that. It's like a big boat, you know. It's like probably 4 to 5 people can sit long and maybe 8 rows deep. It's a big one. Anyways, Cohen and I were the only ones on it. Literally the first row, 2 right in the middle. And because it was like late and it was kind of chilly, and anyways, we were determined to ride it. And dude, I got so soaked. And he had a poncho on, which was hilarious in itself. He didn't get wet at all, but and poor Coop was just sitting there on the side watching us. Oh, good times. All right,
Good times.
let's go to Churchill Downs on Friday, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. We're doing our Saturdays on Saturday, so this is gonna be perfect day for me to watch racing. Churchill Downs race 11, the Clark Stakes. This is a kind of a sneaky fun race here, Alterman. Grade 2, 600K, mile and eighth for 3-year-olds and up, and we have plenty that we know in this race. It's an interesting 3-to-1 hit show. It's kind of like the hit show in Rattle and Row. It's like, do you really trust those horses? Those are the 2 top choices. You've got Gosker in here. You've got Magnitude in here at 9-2. It's, I think, more than anything, First Mission evens in here at 5-1. I think the thing that's going to be most interesting about this race, aside from the race itself, is how are these horses going to be bet? Because I think based on the morning line, I don't think they really know either.
It's a guess, isn't it? A lot of interesting things here. You know, the 3-year-old horses are interesting, but you know, they're like the second or third type of string, you know, so you do have that aspect of the 3-year-olds in here. And I would not be shocked if any of the 3-year-olds won. I couldn't pick them on top, though. I just couldn't get there. You got the defending champion in Rattle and Roll. What's he going to bring? He seems to be getting back into form. You got the Dubai World Cup winner, which is still weird to say, in Hit Show. What is he going to do? You never really know. It's a very awkward race, is how I would describe it. So I kind of went round and round a little bit in this one. I ended up on the number 2 First Mission on top. I hope he's 5-1. I think he's going to go down, but I don't think he'll go down just a ton. I like that Flavian Pratt gets aboard here. That's a good sign. The last time he was on him, it was the best race of his career at Oaklawn. I just kind of look at First Mission and I go, you know what? There's really no reason for him to run here after those last 2 races that weren't very good. I kind of think they feel like they've got him back into top form or they wouldn't have him in this race. So I do think First Mission at his best, I think he's the best horse in the race. It's just going to be, can he get back to it?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. The First Mission, man, he has just been the bane of my existence. I can't ever get him right, you know? And he doesn't really run poorly most of the time. He has a few bad efforts in there, but most of the time he runs okay. And it's just like, but then he doesn't win. You're just pissed off of him that he couldn't get the job done. You know, listen, he gets third, you know, Stephen Foster to horses like Mindframe and Sierra Leone. So nothing to like have shame there. But, you know, I honestly almost picked Rattle and Roll, which says a lot about the race, right? Mm-hmm. Because he loves this track. And he only won the race last year when, you know, you didn't really think he could. So he aims for this race. It feels like every year and runs well. He loves Churchill Downs. He's won here multiple times. I ultimately, though, you said you couldn't go to the 3-year-old department. I did, and I went to the outside on Magnitude. I think he's I'm pretty sure he's the fastest horse in the race, and it kind of depends on what they're going to do. That last in the Pennsylvania Derby, it was a weird ride, by the way, no longer on Curtis, and you get Jose Ortiz, which is great. But, you know, that last one he showed they didn't need the lead and still ran a nice race. But I do think you want him on the lead, if not very close to it. And I think he's the fastest horse. I think the distance is obviously in his likings, and he's won at Churchill Downs. The thing I kind of went to is, like, when he runs his race, like, meaning like the Pennsylvania Derby even was a good race from a numbers perspective. The Iowa Derby obviously was very good, and so was the Risen Star. when he does that, like those numbers are far and away, for the most part, better than anybody in the race. And if he can do that, I think he's going to be very tough to beat. And I think it's kind of been the plan, right, to run here since that Pennsylvania Derby. So I like the fact that he gets to the race in good order.
I do too. I almost picked him. I think out of the 3-year-olds, that's the one I like the best as far as a win candidate. The one I kind of liked as far as hitting the board was Chunk of Gold. I think you kind of know what he's going to do. I think you can use him underneath. But yeah, you talk about magnitude. I don't really know what to make of him still. And that's weird, right? Because, the Lecomte and the Iowa Derby were so impressive. And then he was beyond bad in the Travers, like it just horrific.
Yep.
The Pennsylvania Derby was good, but he was also, like you said, very strange how that race unfolded. So yeah, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to take him back? Are they going to try to take it gate to wire? I don't know. I think it's very odd. I remember watching the Pennsylvania Derby thinking, well, this magnitude's just not any good, before he made the run, because I didn't think he would run a step where he was at. Then he closes up and gets a nice second. And you're like, well, maybe there's more there to this horse. So anyway, I do feel like he has maybe the most talent in the race, and I think he's got a lot of upside. I think it's going to be very interesting getting Jose Ortiz back aboard, because when you look at this, he was aboard this horse early in his career when he was disappointing. And they put Ben Curtis on that day, not really because, hey, let's go to Ben Curtis and let's try to get a win. They're just like, yeah, throw Curtis on this horse. We have other horses in the race, that day that were rode by better ones. And then he, after those 2 wins, you couldn't really take him off, I wonder, though, if you put true serum into Steve Asmussen's mouth, if he doesn't say, yeah, I'm kind of glad we got Jose Ortiz on him in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, that was the decision on the Pennsylvania Derby was just like to not even get to the lead or close to it was weird. I don't know, what obviously there was, that may have been the final, well, it was the final nail where it's like, all right, let's bring him back. But, the other aspect of it too is, it's not like Bieza ran awesome in the Classic, and
yeah.
And so how good is Bieza? And he got beat by him, and he kind of looked like, okay, I understand that, it's like even journalism, even for that matter, for another 3-year-old, but the horses, those older the 4-year-olds that won the Classic or ran 1, 2, 3 in the Classic, I know they're not in this race, but his hit show and First Mission and Rattle and Roll still better than the Magnitude, so. That's the question. And Magnitude's just the odd one of the 3-year-old this year that I feel like the Travers, we haven't really we don't know what he is necessarily. Like it still feels like he's learning, and we haven't seen him enough. He was hurt early in the year, and then he came back and he was awesome. And then, what is he?
Yeah, I know. He's just he's a strange horse. I wouldn't really be all that skeptical about him, but the only 2 times that we really saw that big race were at racetracks that aren't, what's the word, Jared? Like, they're just not like trustworthy, I guess would be the word. They're not, you see weird things happen. You don't fully trust the numbers from those tracks. And then, when you get up, even Parks, I don't really trust what happens at Parks either, outside of Parks. No. So let's just say, okay, the one race we've really seen from him was up at Saratoga, and that wasn't good. So I still don't, and that's what I'm not saying it's a bad pick, and I'm not saying that he's not going to do it. I'm just saying I'm still very confused by who he is. So,
and I think it's also like, to kind of put it in a nutshell, it's like, well, his biggest race, his biggest performance based off everything, numbers and everything, was the Resident Star. And he was 43-1 that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, was he kind of like, and obviously his return race was very good too. So I don't think it was like a fluke, but like, we just don't know, like you said, it's that weird tracks that he did it at. And he kind of came out of nowhere in that big performance. And I don't know. He's one to me that's why I picked him, because I don't necessarily like any of these older horses in the race, and I do think out of the 3-year-olds, he's the one that has shown flashes of being like he might be really good. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't run very well here, and really, frankly, doesn't run very well that much anymore. You know what I mean? Like, he just may not be, because it's like if it's Sovereignty and then it's journalism and then it's Bieza and then it's Gosker, like, where does Magnitude fall down that list? And now he's racing against older horses. It makes it challenging for sure.
Yeah, it does. And I said LeComp earlier. Obviously, I meant Risen Star there for that win. He's a complicated horse, is how I would describe him. Now, if he wins here, we start to build okay, we kind of know who he is. Since we're on the 3-year-old kind of train right now, you have Chunk of Gold. What about Gosker? He did try older horses last time out in the Fayette. A race won by Hit Show. Second was Rattle and Roll, who seems to be rounding back into form. I was just like you. I almost picked him. Oscar was a decent third there. He's pretty consistent. Did you think about him at all?
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's like, I almost think he's like the most dependable one out of all. I mean, he did the Pennsylvania Derby was not good, right? But he stumbled at the start and he kind of was out of it. That you kind of give that a pass there. But shit. I mean, journalism ran well in the Classic. He's ran well his whole career, and Gosker did all, gave him a lot of effort, or gave him a lot of challenge in those races. And I think Gosker is nice. Like, I don't think he's a world beater, and I don't necessarily think he ever will be, but I think that, and that's part of the reason why I like him, and part of the reason why I don't like him, if that makes sense, because I do think you can depend on him to run a good effort. I just don't know that you can depend on him to win a race like this. And then I think the other part too is like, well, okay, I know it wasn't Churchill Downs, but it was a Keeneland. It was this distance. He ran against a couple in this race. They beat him. He had every opportunity to win the race. He was a favorite of the race. He didn't get the job done. So, like, what's going to change here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, I think him and Chunk of Gold look exactly alike to me, in the fact that they hit the board a lot. They don't win a lot. They do have some, Gosker 2 for 7, Chunk of Gold 3 for 9. So they win, but you don't see their name in the winner's circle in races of this caliber. And I think that's kind of the worry. And you do see other horses that are entered here. You do see that name winning races like this. So, yeah, I was with you on that. I couldn't get there with him on top, but I don't really, I can't really argue anybody that's going to try to play him. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. That's for sure. Cox IRAD equals big weekend was the comment. Hit Show is the favorite here. I think it's a favorite you could try to beat, though.
I'll be honest. I hate this horse, and not because like I hate him like he doesn't win. I mean, he's a good enough horse. I just hate him because I never know when to bet him and when to not bet him. And listen, has there ever been in the history of ever where a horse that's won almost $9 million in earnings, you feel like you can't trust at all? And no matter what rate, it could be a grade 3, it could be a grade 1, and you don't feel like you can trust him ever. And that's Hit Show. He's won $9 million, obviously one huge race in Dubai World Cup made a big difference there, but still he's done it. And yet at the same time, I just never feel like I know what he's going to do.
It's funny how horses can be different, because I've had him right a lot, I did stay away from him when he ran in the Belmont, the Derby, the Jim Dandy, but I've had him some of these lesser races. He did kill me in the Oklahoma Derby back in 2023. I had him there, and he was just awful in that race, but he's been good, a lot. But again, you're right. Like, all you have to do is look at the resume. He's a grade 2, grade 3 type of horse that somehow won the Dubai World Cup, but past that, he just, that's kind of who he is. I think this race is, you take out the Dubai World Cup win, I think this race is just tougher than what he usually can win.
Yeah, I mean, the races he's won, or he beat. Here's the thing: I think he is probably better than Rattle and Roll. I don't know. Maybe it's close. I certainly think he's better than most of these. Well, I'll say this. I think he's better than Gosker and what's the other one? Chunk of Gold. I think Magnitude again is still iffy on that one. We'll see, but he's serviceable. I don't think he's going to let you down in terms of like total non-efforts. Although he does have those, he's in pretty good form right now. He's got IRAD. Like there's a lot to like, but I do think he hasn't been the favorite in a while. I don't know that I want to play him as a favorite here.
Yeah, I think he ran really, really. I think he ran well. I almost said really well. I think he ran well last time out in the Fayette, and I mean that is the prep for this one. I do think Rattle and Roll probably would have won with a little bit better trip, but look, he's a closer, and sometimes you're just really, really wide when you're closing. So that's not really Hit Show's fault, right? But yeah, I thought Hit Show. Here's what I would say: if you want to play him as the favorite, I don't think he's going to be just insanely short. So I think he'll be okay. And if you're betting him off that last race, I mean, that's probably good enough to win here. So I get it. He's just not for me in this spot. He's just not one I want to back in this spot to win. I don't want to play him to win.
I will say this: if this thing, and it does have the potential to melt down, if this thing melts down, and because there is plenty of Magnitude, Gosker likes to have early speed, and First Mission likes to. I mean, if we do get some sort of high pace scenario, Rattle and Roll and Hit Show, man, both those horses should really benefit from that setup, and Hit Show might just, if he gets that pace set up, he might just prove to be like, you know what, he is not great, but he's good enough to win, especially when you get to help him out with a little bit of pace. Do you think like if they all run their best, like if you get best efforts out of every one of them, top performances, would you think it's Hit Show, or do you think it's Magnitude?
I think it's First Mission. I think his best race is better than everybody's, but I wouldn't say it's rare that you see it, but it's hard to know when you see it, like when you're going to see it. I really look at the Stephen Foster and go, if he runs that race, who's better than him? And if you go back and go to the Oaklawn race, I kind of think the same thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is since the Stephen Foster, he hasn't been very good. And we've seen this horse go through stretches where he's not good. And then he'll go through one or two races in a row where it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's coming on. And then he kind of goes back and forth, right? So he really likes this racetrack. I'm expecting him to run well. I don't know why you enter him if you don't think he's kind of back into some of his better form. I don't think Flavian Pratt gets aboard if he doesn't kind of believe that he's in a little bit better form. You look at the workout 2-back, that looks pretty good on paper. It looks like a horse that's feeling pretty good. Now, what does that mean? Sometimes nothing. Sometimes it means they're kind of back. So that's why I picked him. I think he's the horse that does have the highest level of talent. And I'm just kind of hoping he gets back to it. Now, between Hit Show and Magnitude, I think it's very debatable. I know the numbers will say it's Magnitude, but I just love to see him get a number at a normal track, if that makes sense.
Yeah, oddly enough, with First Mission, I think he is very dependable, and it kind of says that dependable in this kind of race. Now, if you look at his performances, he's had some duds, but he's never not hit the board in a grade 2 or lower race. Now, grade 1s, those are the times he missed hitting the board, but in every race he's ran in with a grade 2, grade 3, whatever, he's hit the board. And so he's a very dependable horse. And that kind of tells you a lot about, he might be that's a they've tried, a few of those races, like even the Goodwood, but like, the Whitney or the Stephen Foster, the Pegasus races like that, maybe a little too much for him. Right. But these kind of races, this is the borderline, right? This is the Clark. But this is the kind of race that I think he should run well, and I would think he has a big chance to, at the very least, have something to say. I really imagine he will be like, it'll be similar to that, Stephen Foster or something like that, where it's like, all right, well, he's there now. Who is coming, who can try to get him, who's going to be the one to try to beat him. So I do expect him to run well. I'm just going to try to beat him with kind of an unknown, and that is the 9 Magnitude. You've got your horse here, number 2, First Mission. Nice price too on both those horses. So if we get anywhere around those morning lines, should be good. That's our thoughts and picks for Friday's Clark. That's I don't know. It's one of those I think Magnitude and even Gosker, but I think this for these 3-year-olds, it could be a really good race for them to if Rattle and Roll wins, you're just kind of cool, yeah. But a horse say Magnitude wins, you're oh, this could be a really fun next year for him.
Yeah, and I think, a race like the Pegasus has got to be in mind for whoever runs well here, and yeah, Magnitude wins it, and all of a sudden it's okay, that's a race that makes sense. Same with Gosker, same with Chunk of Gold. It's hey, we could go down there and win that race, or I don't know if you can win it. I don't know who's actually going to be there, but you're going to go down there feeling like you can be competitive. And yeah, so I'm kind of excited to see what he does. I think we'll really at least learn something from Magnitude this time around.
Got to face Disco Time. I guess that's where they're running him next, is the Pegasus. So,
well, that may lead out a couple of these Cox horses. Then I think that's who they think the most of right now in that barn. I would imagine after those 2 races.
Be fun to see what he can do. Hopefully he can stay healthy and get there. But yeah, Disco Time supposedly heading towards. Paul already texted me. He's like, "Are you going?" I don't think so. I'll watch it on TV. All right, time for Rapid Fire, presented by. This is probably the best. Not it is the best promotion we do every single year. The Black Friday promotion is back, 50% off. That's right, 50% off all of our premium subscriptions. That's including Rockets and Soma Bombs, and of course the Old Faithful premium picks. You can get any of those half price. If you've been debating, if you want to try it, now is the time. Most people, what we see do is they go the 180, whatever it is. If you're going 180 or 350 for 6 months, well, guess what? You get a half price, and it's a great time to do it as the year kind of rounds out and you go into the second half, or into the first half of next year, and of course the Derby and all those the Derby Trail. Great time to be a premium subscriber. Soma Bombs, Rockets, whatever you're looking for. Premium picks, half price right now, up until next week at the beginning of next week. If you go to racingdudes.com, just hit the get premium button. Black Friday 50, that is the promo code. So make sure you get your hands on that before it expires. All right. Speaking of Kentucky Derby, Halterman, we've got a Derby and we got an Oaks prep race this weekend. Race 10, the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. This is on Saturday at Churchill Downs. Grade 2, 400K, mile 16th for the 2-year-olds, and 10-5-3-2-1 for your top 5 finishers. Listen, you've got Baffert chipping, and we talked about him a little bit ago, but he's got to face the Brad Cox Irad Ortiz combo, number 6, Further Ado, who just ran almost quite literally off the screen last start. But he's got to face, again, this is still unknown to these 2-year-olds, but that's a big challenge for that horse, and for any of these horses who he looked just unbeatable in that last start.
Yeah, this is the race I'm most looking forward to this weekend. I think this is a really. Here's the deal. I think we are so starving for who is the second horse right now behind Ted Nafi. It's just it looks kind of weak. I really feel like this race should get us going towards finding that horse that's second or third even. There's some potential in here. I did not go against the favorite. I went number 6, Further Ado, on top. I think the first 2 races, I'm just going to kind of scratch off and say, you know what, this horse needed to go long. He didn't want to sprint, and because his first 2 races were very average. If he repeats the last race, he's going to win. It's kind of just that simple. His last race, stretching out 2 turns at Keeneland in a maiden special weight, wins by 20 lengths. That is that's wow. You just don't see that very often. Received a 98 buyer speed figure for the effort. That's the same speed figure that Ted Nafi got winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So again, though, it's a maiden. You're going to have to do it again. But if he can repeat that effort, all of a sudden you got the first legit challenger to the favorite, right? So really excited to see it. I'm very excited to see him run. I don't think this is going to be an easy race, though. We'll talk about some of the other ones in here as we go. But on top for me is number 6, Further Ado.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I don't know. Like, I think it's such a iffy thing. If he can repeat that effort, I don't think frankly he needs to even repeat it in order to win. But obviously, if he repeats it, it's lights out for the rest of this field. But I kind of lean towards what you said. Like, I think they just needed, maybe time, and then also to go longer. I mean, it's something woke this horse up into going longer. Obviously, he's bred to want to go longer. But those 6 and 7 furlong first races, I mean, the horse ran about the same race each time, never really did a lot of running, kind of started to run a little bit later in the races. And then that last race just lights on, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable race, really. I mean, there's nothing you can say about it. And so looking at that, I do think it's interesting that Bob Baffert brings out Cherokee Nation. It's a maiden still. Get beat by Mr. AP. Nice horse, but I just think this. I'll say this: the 3 is interesting to me, but past the Baffert, I don't know how much I love any of these in here. Now, again, the 3 or the 2-year-olds, there's a lot to learn. That horse just wowed me enough to where I'm going to play him back.
Yeah, I like the 3 Dr. Kapur in second, and a horse. You mentioned him. I almost put him on top, but I'm just. It's like, yeah, good horse, but hasn't really shown what Further Ado showed. And again, it was at a mile and a 16th, and I think that's the same distance today's race. And it's like I just feel like, if it's sprinting, you go, okay, let's try to beat him. But man, at that distance, it's hard to think, that wasn't kind of for real in terms of what's going to happen in this one with these conditions. But I do like the 3, Dr. Kapoor. I thought his race last time out was very impressive. Another race at Keeneland, but again, stretching out today or in this race after running 6 and 7 furlongs. So there's still a question mark, but I thought he was interesting. You mentioned the Baffert horse, Cherokee Nation, who's still a maiden. He is a maiden, but he's been defeated by 2 really nice efforts. Now, he went 5.5 furlongs on debut. That's clearly not what he wanted to do. But he got beat by Boyd, a horse that's in the sprint stakes and is going to be a heavy favorite, and probably who I'll pick to win that race earlier in the card. But I don't necessarily care about that race or even what Boyd does, because we saw him stretch out to the 2-turn mile at Santa Anita, and he got beat in a very narrow margin by a nose against a horse that ran second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. To me, we learn a lot about Mr. AP in this race, and we'll learn a lot, obviously, about Cherokee Nation. See how he runs, because he damn near broke the maiden there. And that horse is very good. So will he kind of continue to progress? I think he's fascinating in this spot. And if you don't want to bet him, just to kind of, okay, what's the measuring stick here with this horse? Is Mr. AP a horse that's really, really good? What if Cherokee Nation wins? What do we think then? So will be very interesting to see how this horse runs.
I think what's going to happen is because the 2 and 3 are just, and honestly, maybe the 4 a little bit too, are just straight up burners, right?
Yeah.
Especially the 2 and the 3. We know it's no secret. We know what Bob Baffert and his horse, and really Safi, is what they're going to try to do. The 6 has got speed. We know that, but I do think the 6 drawing outside can sit off of those 2 and then kind of wait to see what happens later in the race. So I do think it'll be kind of fascinating how the race unfolds. Another horse that I have some interest in that, has a win over the favorite, and that's Soldier and Diplomat, the 4 horse. Maybe another situation of, did the lights kind of come on for this horse last start? Because this horse did break the maiden on debut, was not good in the hopeful, was at least thought of enough to go run in the hopeful. Didn't run great, ran 4th, beaten a mile by Ted Nafi. but then came back at Churchill Downs here and romped. So is in another situation, maybe the lights came on for this horse, going a little longer again here. Maybe this is a horse that's got a big chance.
Yeah, and if you miss Stars of Tomorrow one card, this was the kind of the star of that kind of card, Soldier and Diplomat. That was an allowance race on that day and blew him out. I'm very interested in this horse as well. And this is another one. I do think this is a nice one. And I do think there is a big future for this horse. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, yes, Further Ado kind of stands out based on that last race. But if he doesn't run as well, there are horses that are very capable of beating him. He's going to have to run well again. Maybe, like you said, maybe he doesn't have to run a 98. But I bet you a 90 buyer is what it's going to take to win this one. I think Dr. Kapoor, I think Soldier and Diplomat, I think Cherokee Nation to a certain extent. I think they can kind of move up in this spot. So I'm with you. It did feel like the light bulb came on. Soldier and Diplomat ran well on debut, like you said, and beat Further Ado up at Saratoga. Look, the Hopeful got fourth, beaten 12, but pretty good horse won that race named Ted Nafi. So, you don't hold that against him just too much. And like I said, these horses are improving, and he showed improvement last time out for sure.
What makes this year's running of this race so interesting to me is that you have a lot of there's several in here that could have okay, that's a real Derby horse. You know what I mean? Like, not only just because of the horse, but look at the connections. You got Baffert in the race with a decently on paper looking horse. Even a horse or a trainer like Kenny McPeak, with Universe. I think that's where horse is interesting. And certainly we know how he trains. Will probably be in multiple preps, assuming he runs okay. We already mentioned Brad Cox and Further Ado. Another, Steve Asmussen, like you said, he's got Spice Runner, but he's got Soldier and Diplomat as well. And then Safi Joseph, Dr. Kapoor. I mean, those are multiple trainers / connections that you got to assume this is one race, but as they get older and keep improving, you're going to see them on the road towards the Kentucky Derby at least a couple more times. And so I do think from a lot of times this race sometimes seems weak. Like, I don't know, like we got to pick a winner, but I don't know how much these horses are going to do on the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas this one feels like, I mean, maybe they don't, but it definitely has more potential than I feel like I can remember in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. When I did the preview video for this, I opened up the past performances for the first time and started handicapping for it. Each horse you go down the list, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm betting this horse today, but I don't think this horse is impossible, to be a horse down the line, whether it be today or Saturday or whether it be in the future, that'll at least make some impact on this trail. And you're right. I mean, some years you do kind of go, boy, I don't know, this is just okay. But this seems like a very, very good year for this race. And, maybe that means it'll disappoint. Who knows? But we also could see the superstar too. So it could go a lot of different ways. I like I said, that's what makes this the most exciting race of the weekend for me.
All right. Halterman and I are both on the 6 Further Ado. See if he can do anything near. If he does anything near that last effort, 1, they're going to win. And 2, we're going to be sitting here talking about, okay, it's Ted Nafi. Oh, well, first of all, this is an awesome ownership for Spindrift because now all of a sudden they've got the top 2 and Ted Nafi and Further Ado. But we'll see what happens here in this one. We're both on the 6. All right. Next race up, though, Halterman, barely go to the bathroom and then come back because we got the Goldenrod, which is the Kentucky Oaks prep race 11, grade 2, top 5 finishers, 10-5, 3-2-1, 400K, mile 16th for the fillies, 2-year-olds. And we got a full field here, Halterman, 13 2-year-old fillies. What you think?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, wait, by the way, no Explorer.
Yeah, this one definitely got a little bit weird. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth on this one for a while. I ended up going with the number 5, Let Me Count the Ways on top. This is a horse that has been pretty exciting in 2 starts. Albeit those 2 starts were against State Bred Company up in New York, right? But maiden special weight win by almost 6 lengths, and then a stakes win by 6 lengths. it just kind of took over the race, just kind of get to the front and dominate you. Last time out was going a mile. Now we go a mile and 16th. These Yaupon horses are running really well. These the Yaupon sired horses are running really well. Yeah, I just, the more I watched that last race, I thought, you know what, if this horse can get to the front again, I think she can take him gate to wire. And as big as this field is, I don't see a lot of just real speed burners in the race. So I went number 5, Let Me Count the Ways, hoping to try to take him gate to wire again.
Yeah, well, I think too, everyone needs to keep in mind with the, I mean, it hasn't been reflected yet here, but once it is, like, the odds are going to be crazy, right? Because the odds are, you see a lot of big prices and good prices if you want to look at it that way. But now with Explora, it's not going to take a ton of money. Now the odds could go 1,000 different ways. So that's going to be interesting to see how this is bet. You got to assume Brad Cox, Ira Ortiz going to take a lot of money on the 6. And, I think your 5, is safe with that price just because of what you laid out. And that is going to hurt the horse that I like and the price anyways. And that's the 9, Atropa, I believe is how you pronounce that one. Sherry DeVoe trains this one, and a kind of similar story to the last race we talked about. All the way back at Saratoga, debuts, doesn't run well whatsoever, takes some time off, comes to Keeneland and wins by 10. So obviously the horse had issues or needed to, get better, improve, woke up, whatever, stretched out in that race as well, which is obviously what this horse is bred to do, and just dominated, beat a horse named Measure, who came back to win out of that maiden special weight. This to me feels a little bit like the last race, meaning maybe the horse woke up and that 41 buyer on debut all of a sudden turns into a 73 buyer, and that puts the horse just right in the middle of this thing, especially without Explora. Likes to stretch out, get that here. Jose's back aboard. I think this horse is in with a big shot at a big price currently.
I'm 100% with you. I like this horse second. I put the horse in second. I like the last race. Sherry DeVoe, obviously a trainer that we like as well. And look, it looked like the first race, this horse just wasn't ready, which happens. And then you had some time off, and then you show up at Keeneland, it's a different horse, like you said. And the light bulb did come on. So, yeah, I'm with you. I like the 9 quite a bit as well. I think it's also, I don't know how much of a positive, but I think it is something to mention that Jose Ortiz was on the 13, the Grumpy Rabbit, last time out, and chose to ride Atropa in this spot. So I thought that was good to see.
I mean, I think he probably just did that because the name is awful.
But
no,
I know. Hit the board in 2 stakes races. So
yeah,
I do think it means something.
Including the grade 1 Alcibiades. I mean, like, it wasn't like this is, and then finished second to Life of Joy, who's going to be probably the favorite of this race at the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, so yeah, to go. And by the way, hadn't ridden Atropa into that last race, and so obviously wanted to stay put there.
Yeah,
that's another thing too that you start to see. With these jockeys, it's probably too early now, but as it gets going, like they obviously want to find their Oaks and Derby mounts, right? Mm-hmm. And if they can land on a horse sooner rather than later on a good one, you want to keep that, right? And I mean, again, I wouldn't say they're guessing, but at this stage, you're trying to figure out. We're all trying to figure out which ones are good, which ones are not good. But you certainly take a little bit, maybe a tad bit more stock in when those jockeys start to navigate where they're going on these type of 2-year-olds / 3-year-olds, because they do think that those are their best shots to get into the Derby or Oaks.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you can try. Like, listen, it's not like Jose Ortiz. I mean, he maybe has some say, but he's not back there analyzing this. A lot of times it's the jockey agents, right?
Yeah.
And the agents, jockey agents are some of the best handicappers, right? That's what John White taught me that very early, because he's like, look, they make mistakes. Yes. But he's like, they get paid to make the right decision.
Right. Yeah.
So they've got to, their livelihood depends on it. So you can kind of trust it, especially when it's the good ones. So I think that was enough for me. I almost put this horse on top as well. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why if the ones that have been around and doing it for a long time and have the best jockeys, why they're still doing it, right?
Yep.
Because they tend to do pretty well with that. So,
Yep.
give me the 9, Atropa. Halterman, you're going with the 5. Let me count the ways to win the goldenrod. All right, let's go. We'll stay on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, we'll stay on Saturday, and let's go all the way out to sunny Del Mar. And that is, of course, for the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby, race number 9, 300K, 1 1/8 miles on the turf. You've got a large field for the 3-year-olds. Field of 9 will scratched out to a field of 8 with Noble Confessor being out. 5-2 on test score for Graham Motion. Looks to me on paper, looks pretty dang tough here. What do you think, though, of this one?
I'm with you 100%. I went test score on top. I think it's very tough to go against this horse. Came out to Santa Anita last time out and ran very well. Got the job done in the Twilight Derby. Also won the Belmont Derby at Saratoga. Ran well in some of the other races. The race he lost, the Grade 1 Saratoga Derby Invitational. Got third, narrow defeat there. Nashville Derby, thought ran okay as well. I think this is the class of the field. The horse right to the outside, I think, is a little bit interesting, but I think test score is the one.
Yeah, no, you know how you like when I think, and it depends on how people kind of do it when they handicap. But for me, when I handicap, I'm looking through it and I'm like, all right, especially when it comes to like, if a couple horses have ran against each other, I'll go watch that replay again and see if like I kind of make the excuse of like this horse can get the edge on him again. You know what I mean? Like, can he turn the tables or whatever? And when I watched that Twilight Derby, because I kind of like Maz, I think it's how you pronounce it. And you watch that back, you're like, oh, I mean, test score just like that wasn't a situation of, oh, he got the rail and he had trouble getting through. It was like, no, test score just flew by that whole field and he looked awesome. And ultimately it was just like, oh yeah, that's the horse. That's the horse. And so I pray we get anywhere close to 5-2. I do think the 4 is interesting, but mostly because of who he's trained by. Has looked okay. Those couple starts before last time out, Grade 3, I didn't think looked great. And so, ran okay, but maybe this is a little tough class. And I think maybe taking too much money will take too much money because of who it is, right? Chad Brown, Judd Mott, especially if Pratt would have been aboard, but you get Rispoli instead. But give me the 3 test score. I think this horse is the class of the field and will be very tough to beat out here at Del Mar. Anyone else that you liked in this one?
Yeah, you mentioned Maz. I like that horse a little bit. That's a horse I had thought about for a second. That number 8, Tempest Volat, a horse that won a pretty nice race there at Del Mar last time out. I think kind of an up and comer. I think if test score wasn't in the race, it becomes pretty wide open. I think you make case for 3 or 4 of them. The 8 being 2 of the ones for sure. So, and I was kind of with you on the brown horse. It's like, I don't know, like I could see it, but I don't think that horse is ready to beat test score.
Yeah, I don't know. And I had trouble because like I don't know what the numbers on other ones, but like the buyer for that Gio Ponte race came back pretty strong, got a 90 buyer, which puts him in contention with say the 3 test score. But at the same time, the next race, he only ran an 81. The race prior when he broke his maiden was an 84, 75 before that. So, I don't know if the 90 was a little fluky, if it's real, you know what I mean? And so test score is like consistently runs like low 90s, high 80s every single time. And so I do think it's possible the 4 sneaks up and runs another big race, and maybe that we should, that 90 was kind of legit, but I don't think it's likely.
I'm wondering if maybe the stretch out in distance helps the 4 a little bit. That is kind of the one thing I gotta like put a question mark by. Not really bred for it. But maybe that is kind of a, I don't know, equalizer or whatever. But again, you've seen test score go this long. So that's the thing. Like, looks like the fastest horse, looks like the classiest horse, pretty good at the distance. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll take the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, test score is 2 for 2 at the distance. Has ran at Del Mar once, finished second to a horse named Chasing Liberty, who came back to win. That was last year at Del Mar. So, like, the horse has done very little wrong. Certainly, some of the few losses are to decent horses, and even when the horse gets beat by a length to Zulu Kingdom in the American Turf, and then comes back and wins the Belmont Derby. Like, Zulu Kingdom's in this race. This horse, like, what's Zulu Kingdom? Even money in the race.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I just think this is the class, and hopefully we get anywhere near. I don't know that we will, but maybe we'll get like 2-1, 8-5, something like that on the horse.
By the way, Zulu Kingdom, whatever happened?
I don't know, man.
Remember the just the awful disqualification?
Yeah.
And then we never saw that horse again, and I never heard an update on that horse or anything.
I think they were so pissed that they just said, "You know what? Forget it. We're just getting rid of the horse. We're retiring him."
I've gotta look this up now. No works the last 60 days. Yeah.
Huh. That's weird. Yeah, I honestly hadn't even thought about him until I was looking at his past performances and saw that American Turf. But yeah, test score has been is, I guess, taking over for him. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's go. Let's stay at Del Mar, but let's go to the next day, and that is Matriarch on Sunday, November 30th, race 7. It's Matriarch Grade 1, 300K, 1 mile on the turf. Fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and up. Field 10 lines up here, and look who shows up. You've got our girl, number 8, Silver Bullet, AG Bullet, returning out to Del Mar. This one, to me, I'm always looking to beat the favorite. This one is head and shoulders, to me, the best horse in the race.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because we do have to stretch out in distance, and I think that is the one question mark. And last time out, when she tried this last year, I should say, when she tried the mile, she did get beat. Are we a better horse? Are we facing weaker horses today? That's the big question. I thought was going to win the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. I really did. It turned for home and looked like, okay, we're going to catch this horse, and just couldn't do it. I would feel a lot better if the race was going short, but I still think she's got a ton of class. I think she is good enough going a mile to get the job done. I'm with you.
Now, she has won at the distance, right?
Yes.
That's the thing. I agree. That is the concerning part of the last year, but she's got 5 starts at a mile. She's won 2 times, 1/3. So, I mean, she can do it, right? And I think those races she won were lesser quality. So that kind of goes back to the question you asked, is even if, and clear, I think the way they run her, it's not her prime distance, but can she still win? I do think she's going to have to outrun or hold off the horse to her outside. I think that horse might be pretty good at this mile distance, and that is Sagesta, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Brown, Pratt now back aboard after riding the horse last out, finished second by a neck in the First Lady at a mile at Keeneland. So I do think this is the horse that she's going to have to hold off.
Yep. I agree. I think it's a 2-horse race between those two. Sagesta, I don't love that horse, though. I think if AG Bullet runs her best, I don't think she'll get caught. Now, will somebody kind of pressure her? What'll happen there on the front? I don't know. I think in our time, we'll go to the front, the horse coupled to the outside there. I do think AG Bullet can sit off, though, if that happens. So, that is the one. Sagesta's the one that's gonna be rolling. I thought the race last time out was her best yet. Some of these other ones I wasn't just overly impressed with.
No, and honestly, like, my thing with why I kind of just leaned on AG Bullet was like, well, they don't really have a lot of reason to. I mean, I know they ran in this race. They run out Del Mar. Like, I get why they're running in the race, but they don't need to run in the race.
Yeah.
And like, if they didn't think she could win it, they're not going to run her. And it's like, she just ran the Breeders' Cup. She's been awesome this year. She won the Jaipur. I mean, she's done very little wrong in the last 6 months. like they're gonna run her to think they can win. And it's not like, well, let's just see what happens. So I do have a lot of confidence in the fact that Baltus is like, hey, she's good, she's healthy. It's a grade 1 at Del Mar home track. We're running her, and I do think that class alone will be enough to get the job done.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you look at it last year when she was in the matriarch, she got beat by Sacred Wish and Gina Romantica. If you remember, I mean, I know you remember, but if I'm talking to the listeners, those horses, I think
Yeah.
they're a little better than what she's facing here, right? And so that's why I've got a little bit more confidence in her this year. And look, the odds kind of told you that last year. She was 3-1, but she wasn't the favorite because those horses were in there. Well, this year, what do you think? She's like 8-5. I mean, no odds yet, but 7-5, 8-5, right?
I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, after that effort in the, because like you said, like she's a spicy ran huge, and like I that AG Bullet. I mean, she's ran great all year, and then she ran great again in the Breeders' Cup, even though she didn't win. I think you're looking at like a 7-5, and then suggests is like 5-2 or 2-1 or something like that. I mean, those two, and then past that, just whatever. But I do think it is between those two. I just think, Velasquez kind of recently jumped on her in the Jaipur, then was off, and then was back on in the Breeders' Cup, and he's back to ride here. He's done really well on her. You can see those two, like she was like very speedy, and then she is very fast. Don't get me wrong, but when he's been on her, he's been a little, like, if you notice, like a little bit more. She's been a little more patient. He's been more patient with her. So I do think, like you said earlier, like I don't think like, hey, she's got to go to the leads. They're going to have to catch her.
Yeah.
I do think he has added a little bit of versatility into her game, which is going to help, which should help her going longer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it needs to be. When you look at the race last year, when they went longer with her, she was in front. Maybe she doesn't have to be there this time out, unless they just are walking, then go ahead and take it. But you're right. Maybe we can show a little bit of versatility. And yeah, I mean, you look at the Jaipur, which, I thought that was probably her best race that I saw her run. And she set off. Now, it's not like she was far back. It's not like she's closing, but she's a length off of it. So you do kind of think, well, maybe that could be the case here, especially within our time. Maybe you let in our time go to the front and you kind of just track that horse, I could see that kind of being the plan. And then, when the gates open, you adjust accordingly.
Yeah, should be a good one. Obviously a superstar type of horse running these kind of races is always fun to watch. That is on Sunday. Again at Del Mar. We're both on the 8-horse AG Bullet. Yeah, I hated to like kind of get chalky there, but as far as like for the most part, I feel like the Goldenrod could go a lot of different ways, but for further ado, test score and AG Bullet, it's like, I don't know, it's like some high class type horses in these races.
Yeah, for sure. The test score one, I just couldn't. I don't know. I just didn't feel right about picking somebody else in that one. It just felt like you're forcing it a little bit. I almost would suggest in the matriarch. I wouldn't be shocked on that one.
Who do you like more as far as confidence wise, further ado or test score?
Yeah, it's tough because further ado, I think, is a bigger standout, but it's also 2-year-olds, and you just don't know how they're going to show up, and also how everybody's going to improve. I still think that's probably the answer, though. I think further ado, because the margin doesn't seem as large with test score. It's like he is better in all the categories, but it's not like a huge margin. He's just better. Where further ado, you just kind of feel like he looks a lot better than everybody else.
Yeah, I think,
but it's one time, so it's tricky.
That is tricky, and I think the level of horses in their races that's tougher on further ado. Like I think at least on pay, I mean, I guess we'll see, but the horses he's up against at least seem like somewhat of a threat, could be threats versus like when you look at test score, it's like, well, I just think this horse pretty much outclasses everybody pretty easily.
Right. I would agree. Like, quote unquote, famous last words, they shouldn't be a threat.
Yeah. But we know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Check us out over at racingdudes.com, of course, for those free picks and the premium selections. Remember, we got that Black Friday special running right now through Tuesday of next week. So all the way through Tuesday of next week. So it's going to cover Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that good stuff. It is the biggest deal we have all year. If you're waiting, if you've been contemplating, even if you don't think you're going to use the picks much until, say, January, February, now is still the time to do it because it's going to be cheaper than it's ever been or ever will be. Any premium product, bombs, rockets, the premium picks, Black Friday 50 gets you all those for half price now through Tuesday. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram, Facebook. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off in our podcast page, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you like to go. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, as we do have a ton of videos out there and more coming. Halterman, I guess this is the last podcast of November. As we get into December, what is the agenda are you thinking for the fantasy draft? Have you locked that in yet?
Yeah, I'm going to make the announcement of the new, like, if there are new rules and the teams next week. And we're going to do the drawing for who's going where next week.
Oh, shit. All right.
So, and then I'm thinking this year, it's gonna. I don't have a firm date yet because the 20th is the Springboard Mile. I don't know, 20th, 21st, maybe, I can't remember. But then that next week is Christmas, and I don't really want to do a show. We may do the pod like Monday, December 29th. Like, because I don't want to. We got to do it before the new year.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to do it that Christmas year, unless we do it like Monday the 22nd on Christmas week, because Thursday is the Christmas this year. So we could do it the 22nd.
I don't want to do it then either.
No, I don't really want to. No,
because you got, let's see, like, when is the rims? Not the rims and the charity. So we'll have the gun runner will already have happened. The Springboard Mile is the 20th, and then you have the Jerome the 3rd. So I really think anytime between the 3rd or the 20th and the 3rd, you're good. So even if it was, I mean, honestly, dude, even if we did it on the 1st.
You think we could do it on the 1st?
I think so.
But would people want to do it on the 1st?
Oh, well, that's true.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking do it early in the week.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. We could do it on like you said, the 29th or 30th and be safe there.
I personally don't want to do it on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
No.
But 29th or 30th, I think we could do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could even do it the 2nd. I mean, I know it's the day before, but
yeah, we could.
As long as you do it before that, the Jerome, I think you're good.
It might be nice to just get it over with that week on the 29th, and then you can like enjoy the holiday or whatever, you know.
We've never done a draft as 3-year-olds. There've always been 2. So that would, you don't want to change that up. So
yeah, I don't really want to do it on that Friday. I think I want to do it the 29th or 30th. But yeah, we're definitely going to announce the teams and the new rules. I'm contemplating some new rules just rolling around in my head. So we'll see though. But yeah, I am excited to get it going again. It feels like forever since we've done it. So,
well, it only feels that way for you and I because our teams have sucked this past year, and we felt like we were out of it so soon. So
it's true. Yeah.
Speaking of new rules, I was talking to our mutual buddy Bones about this, and in our fantasy football league, which by the way, you're looking at the last and second to last 2 guys right now. It's been a great year. I'm blowing it up next year. We're getting rid of defenses. We're getting rid of kickers. I haven't thought it all the way through, but they're gone. Okay. I'm sick.
Okay.
I'm sick of not depending, but I'm sick of even messing with kickers and defenses. So we're gonna have more like players in our lineups, like multiple like wide receiver, running back, tight end combos or whatever, or not even have them at all. But I'm getting rid of defenses and tight and kickers. So,
man, end of an era.
I know. I just got to the point where I'm like, why am I watching? Why do I care if this kicker makes this 30-yard field goal? And then it's not. It's just. I feel like it'd be more fun to have more players on in your lineup.
So I will say I don't care. I mean, whatever you want to do is fine. I do hate the defenses though. I'm with you on that.
Totally.
I think they're pointless.
They are pointless, and not only pointless, they are. And I know fantasy in every fantasy aspect is a risk or is a gamble, but picking a fantasy defense is you're like might as well just throw a dart. You never know. And like I had Seattle's defense last week against Tennessee, and they got me like 5 points. They did nothing. So like teams put up duds. They don't play. The game flows. You have backups in, and they're in a blowout, and then all of a sudden they're scoring a couple, and they're like getting hurt. It's just like, who cares? Let's not do it. So
I agree. I think the scoring doesn't equal how a defense plays. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, totally.
Sometimes you look, it's like that was a great defensive performance, and then you look at your fantasy, it's like they got 8. How? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I hate them. The kickers, I don't mind. I don't care what you do, but the kickers, I don't mind. Because here's the deal. It's at least it's like, okay, field goal, they're getting 3, extra point, they're getting 1. How the kickers does equate to what the scoring is, at least, you know?
Yeah.
But
no, I mean the defense one for sure is one that I'm like, I was like, I'm getting rid of the defenses, but kickers, I could go. Kind of depends, I guess, because the thing is, if you replace the kicker and defense with, say, like I said, the flex spots, so now all of a sudden we have 10 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's 20 more players that you need to play, and it does become a little more challenging, which I kind of like. But it's like it makes it a little tougher to fill up a lineup. So I don't know if I'll just replace them or just simply get rid of maybe the defense, keep it simple. I don't know, because I do like the way we have 2 QBs. I like the way we have the lineups. I just despise the defensive situation. So.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you one bit. And in the Racing Dudes League, they don't have a defense, and I don't think there's a kicker either. Let me look real quick.
Well, it's becoming more and more of a trend that you don't have kickers and defenses. Now, I don't, especially defenses. I think a lot of people don't even rank defensives anymore because, like, who cares? And I don't think, like, for the daily stuff, there's no defense, no defenses. So,
well, it looks like no, we do have that's right. We have a defense, but we have no kicker. I don't like that, but anyway, I think it's a good idea because, like you said, again, fantasy sports are very random anyway. But if you could take a step to take some of that randomness out of it, I think that would be good.
Yeah, it's I don't know. There is an aspect to having kickers it's annoying. It's also fun. Like whenever you're like, please just, it's like 4th and 3. You're like, don't go for it. Damn it. Don't go for it. Just kick the field goal, because you have the kicker. It's like, and then if you do, if you have a defense or if a Detroit kicker, you're screwed because he goes for it every time.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to throw out. So yeah, new rules in our fantasy league too. So that'll be fun. It's always good to change it up,
Mm-hmm. So okay. Since you're sharing, I'll share. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the big thing why I've always charged points for claims in our league is because, listen, this is a fantasy draft. You're supposed to be sharp. I want to put value on draft night. Draft the horse when they're a 2-year-old that wins the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, or Belmont, or any of these other big races, right? I feel like that's important.
Yeah.
I also feel like it makes people never claim horses. So I've thought about changing it where claims will now be free, but you get bonus points for wins with horses that you have drafted.
Oh, wow.
So you still get like, and I don't know the scoring, what it would be yet, but like if you draft a horse that wins the Kentucky Derby, you're going to get more points than if you claimed the horse. Like the points will stay the same, but you get bonuses for
Yeah.
horses that are drafted.
Yeah, it's like a bonus for doing the hard work, basically. You know, not just claiming a horse, and then next week he wins the Wood Memorial.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
The big reason why I want to do it is these teams. Okay, first of all, John and Ryan cost themselves every year, and so maybe we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, they love this new rule.
But the bigger part of it for me is like we're finishing the season with horses that have been hurt for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But the teams keep them because they don't want to lose the points. So it's like I'm thinking about just saying, okay, claims are free, but you're getting bonus points if you win races with horses that you drafted. Because look, if you drafted Sovereignty and he wins the Kentucky Derby, that's a great feat, and so you should get bonus points for that.
Have you considered doing which I hate, I know Dictator runs I know you hate recommendations, but have you considered the idea of the FAB system like we do in football, fantasy football, meaning like we all start with $100 or whatever, and then you can claim all you want, but you got to put in your bids. But being that it's not, and you're in it too, by the way, makes it a little tricky, right? Because you could know what everyone's bidding, and then you know what I mean. So I do understand that, but it is an interesting concept to still allow the claims to happen without fear of losing points.
I haven't thought of it because we do shakes for claims, and I think that's how they do it in actual horse racing.
Yeah.
And it's also good content for the website to have videos every week, which I hardly ever have videos because nobody claims, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, only because of that. Like I kind of want more claims is what I'm trying to get.
Oh, yeah, I can tell.
I want more activity. There's no activity in the league, and it's because people are scared to lose points where it's like, and they should be. Yeah. I tried to explain this to Ryan, and he got super aggressively pissed off at me because he thought I was calling him an idiot. And I was like, well, I am, but listen to my reasoning, and but at the same time, it's like, well, you do want that aggression. But you also, again, I want to reward people. Like, I don't think if you claim a horse in April and you win the Derby, it should mean as much as if you drafted a horse in December and you win a Triple Crown race,
Yeah.
Those are two very different feats. And so you should be rewarded. But maybe you shouldn't be punished for trying to play the game at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, that could be an interesting wrinkle, because it's like, like if, like a horse that I claimed midway through wins the Derby, but the horse that got second in the Kentucky Derby is someone you drafted, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I beat you, but because they got the bonus factor, it's like, you know what I mean? So, which is, if you're going to do it this way, it makes sense to do it that way, because then you're rewarding, the not only that, you're rewarding the ability to like, hey, like I drafted this horse, he hasn't ran well lately, I'm not dropping him though, because I do think he's going to, they're going to figure it out or whatever, get to the Derby, he gets you, then you should get rewarded for it.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for me is not to be like negative, but like these horses anymore get hurt so much. It's hard to just say, no, you got to keep him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you lose 20 points, but it's like, he's dead. I don't want him on. I don't even want him listed. You know what I mean? Like we've had that happen where like a horse had died, but they're still listed on the website on somebody's team. And it's like, yeah, that's not right. And you shouldn't have to be penalized. You don't have any control over that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to do the more I think about it. I just got to figure out how much the bonuses are going to be.
Yeah, because you can't make it too heavy.
No.
But you also can't make it too light to where it's like there's not enough need to do it, So, but I mean, I'll tell you this, if you make them free, the cheap asses in that league will go crazy on the claims. We'll have 10 a week.
But, instead of having 4 videos during the Triple Crown or during the season, if I have a video every week, Because by the way, the video gets views not for the shakes because it's a Triple Crown update. They would listen, So that kind of is the point of it, right? You know what I mean? It's like as much as like, yeah, we're having fun. It's like, yeah, you also want content. And so it would create a lot of content. And, you could also, it brings in more horses to the fold that you could talk about that maybe you're not talking about on your other videos. You might talk about on that one. So
I would almost do like double. Is that too much?
I think for the big races, like the Triple Crown races, I think makes sense to do double.
Yeah, you should definitely, because if you drafted a Derby, one of the Triple Crown races winner, you deserve a big bone. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, because even a double, like say you win, the Arkansas Derby, you get 100 versus 50.
Yeah.
Still, that's like the last prep. It's still that deserves something.
Maybe you get like 50% more on non-Triple Crown races and 100% more on Triple Crown races. Something like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it easy for you to like not have to like it's like, hey, you get double that.
I want to be a mathematician. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, 50% of that is this 12.7, 12.5.
But again, I do think the reward needs to be substantial.
Well, yeah, because that needs to be the catalyst of why there's not like if you make them free, there has to still be something that's keeping people from just dropping all 5 guys every week,
right?
For a new 5,
Yeah.
So you still need to keep that need for like, hey, if this horse does do well, it gets to the Derby, all of a sudden, even like a 4th place finish is still worth a good amount of points because we got him there,
Yep.
Well, shit. I mean, even it's like, hey, we get him to the Derby, it's 20, instead of 10.
Instead of 10. It's a big difference.
So it's like, yeah, that is a good need to. So I do like this, but I think that you're right on with the Triple Crown, having those points be worth at least double because it deserves to be. Now, what you want to do in the other ones, especially the early ones, that's not going to make a huge difference just because there are not a lot of points to be had anyways.
Yeah, again, the early ones I may not, but then the ones that are worth 50, maybe you get 50% more, whatever placing it is. Because the early ones, it's like, okay, you drafted in December and you run in January or February.
Yeah.
Okay. But again,
like
10,
25, 50, 100% or something like that. Small little increments as it goes.
Yep.
Because I do think whether it be, if you draft him in end of December and he wins a race in January, it's like, well, I drafted him, so I'll give me a little bit extra for that. And but yeah, certainly as it goes on, the longer it goes, the more you should get. So
yep.
I don't know.
The more I think about it, I think we got to do it. I mean, and again, I just the one like getaway car, like you cap him the whole time and you knew he was never coming back. And it's like you could get rid of him and it makes it more fun. You have more horses to follow,
Well, yeah, and just as well as I do, and then you get to a point where like, well, if I get rid of him, that's 20 I lose. And I can't really afford to lose too much because I don't have the runners to make up for it.
Yep.
And so you're like, well, I'll just stay, and then you're like left basically just banking on 1 or 2 horses in your out of 5. Like you said, then you're stuck with a dead roster, sometimes literally. And so then you're like, well, I'll just switch out some of those and then I'll still, I mean, at least I have horses in the game and I didn't lose 60 points by drafting, picking up 3 horses.
Right. Yep. No, I like it. I think that's what we're going to do. And there's a rumor there's going to be some shuffling of the teams as well.
Okay.
And there's a rumor that this guy that just commented might be in the league this year. So.
Oh shit. All right. There goes the neighborhood. Hey, man, as long as you don't break up me and Kevin, okay?
No, you guys are there for good.
We got a bromance brewing, so we got to make sure we stick together.
Yeah.
Some
changes, but
did anybody get removed?
Dennis is not coming back.
Hate to see it.
Well, It wasn't for him. Let's put it that way. And there's one other that is not coming back.
I hope I know that one.
You do.
Okay.
And you probably could guess the reason why.
Yeah, no, it sounds fine. I think you did the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I will say this, Manlo, it does become, once you're in the league, it's like you get a little bit more like, I'm not asking you, like, for instance, like I'll text you, be like, hey, have you heard anything about this horse? Like, no, like that's over. I got to keep it close to the vest, man. But no, it's fun. And it's going to be, I do like waiting as long as possible because I always do that in fantasy football. I always try to push the draft until at least like the week before the games, just because injuries happen and things happen in preseason. You draft a guy and then, you know what I mean? So I do like waiting the most possible we can before drafting because I think it gives it the most kind of information before we draft. So I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
But all right. All right. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Whether you do it tomorrow or multiple days, hope you eat a lot. Big Chiefs game tomorrow, so I can't enjoy my Thanksgiving, so that's fun. I'll be stressed out about that one at midway through the day, but it'll be a good day and good racing happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, happy Thanksgiving. We are thankful for everything you guys do for us throughout the year, so we appreciate that. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Happy Thanksgiving and good luck this weekend.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.